Welcome to National Positions' first webinar for 2025, and this is all about trends and predictions and actionable strategies and insights you can use for 2025. And so we have some of our team is on this call. We have some of our clients who are going to be coming in. We have some of you who maybe have never heard of National Positions, but you thought this would be a great subject. So we hope you're going to get a lot of value out of what's going on today. So with that, let's go ahead and dive in. So first things first, sorry about this ugly mug right here, but you should have, most of you have the chat options. So throughout, I may be saying, hey, does this make sense? Or just give a thumbs up or something like that. So you can use the chat as we go. But also there's the Q&A option, should be available to all of you because we're going to go pretty quick. We got a lot of predictions and trends to get through. But if you have any questions that pop up, feel free to go ahead and just drop them in the Q&A. And Tess, say hello, Tess.
Hello.
There you are. We're going to actually introduce Tess here in a minute, but she will be monitoring that. So as we get to the end, we'll tackle all of your questions as long as we have time. So, and also you'll get a copy of this entire presentation as a PDF. Hopefully everyone who's attending and not attending, you'll get a copy of it. And we're also recording this presentation. So if you need to watch this back, you can do that. Do we get the recording too? Sure. Why not? We'll give you the recording too. Yes, and that was Edna, is that right? Okay. Yes, we're going to be recording this. We'll have this saved for you and also the presentation. So you don't have to vigorously take notes or screenshots. You'll have it all at your fingertips. So let's go into introduce today's panel very quickly. So if you're on the panel, go ahead and take your mic off because I'm going to introduce you very quickly. First, Bernard May, who's the CEO and founder of National Positions. Say hello, Bernard.
Hello, good to be here.
All right. And then we have Jill, who is our VP and awesome, amazing SEO, everything. There's Jill right there coming from.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see everyone.
Jill's coming in from Texas. There's Tess, who's our resident expert of SEO. That's Jill, CRO. Tess, say hello, please.
Hello again.
And then there's our special guest, who is Phoenix Ha, who's the CEO and co-founder of Adbeacon.
Hi.
You're going to hear a lot more from Phoenix as we go. And then I'm just little old Matt Erickson. I'm the VP of Marketing here at National Positions. I'm going to be emceeing today's webinar. So with that, let's go into at least the sections that we're going to dive into today. We're going to talk about AI. We're going to talk about Brandformance, which Bernard is going to go over. It's combining both branding and performance. We're going to talk a lot about data. So smarter, accurate, more actionable data you can use for 2025. Omni-channel. Bernard's been talking omni-channel since NP was created. So it's just going to get more and more interesting, but also more and more opportunities for omni-channel. So we're going to dive into that. And then right towards the end, we're going to talk about customer UX, website UX, and conversion strategies, because all the attention doesn't mean much if you can't convert it into profits and revenues and sales. And then we'll finish up with Q&A. So does that make sense? If it makes sense, just write yes in the chat so I know you're all listening. Yep. Okay. First one I saw was Thomas. Thank you, everyone. Fantastic. So first, we're going to dive into AI. So let's get it rolling. So the first prediction is that AI will power even greater levels of discovery, top of funnel, and high intent, middle of funnel search traffic in 2025. So for those of you who've heard about AI, but you kind of toy with it a little bit, kind of how the United States plays with the metric system, just kind of like this, you don't really get into it much, but we're going to kind of spell this out a little bit. So first, so what you're going to see here, this is just right in ChatGPT for doing a search like what is the safest bike helmet for kids. The results we get, a lot of times they're powered by these affiliate article websites, or they're powered by, in this case, ChatGPT. If you don't know, their results are powered by Bing and search that comes from Microsoft. And then if you use something like Gemini, which we're going to get into in a minute, which you'll see in generative search, that's powered by Google and Chrome, excuse me. So the big thing here that we're looking at is there's more and more people not just using ChatGPT for creating content and what a lot of marketers talk about, but for actually researching trips they're going to go on, products they want to use. And we think this is just going to gain more and more traction in 2025. And to go into a little bit of how this ties into SEO and how we're going to be leveraging that, I'm going to kick it over to Jill, our SEO awesome expert. So Jill, I'm going to advance this. There you go.
All right. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is ChatGPT rankings. So ChatGPT, like Matt said, pulls from Bing search. And there's a ton of different components to why ChatGPT displays what it displays, but a big component is the customer ratings and reviews. So making sure that you have a strong reviews that are positive, that your reputation is high, that you are, if customers are providing, let's say negative reviews, that you are responding to them to make sure that you are really focusing on your brand and your reputation, especially like product reviews. Product reviews play a big role in that. Current market trends. So everyone's seeing all the viral moments that TikTok has. That's huge. ChatGPT shows that what's viral moments, any recent developments, any media, they're going to prioritize that higher in the search results. Longevity and track record. So just making sure that you have an established brand, that it's trustworthy. And that's why how PR actually plays a role in this is just making sure that your brand is recognized, and along with awards and certifications. So do you have awards? Do you have certifications? Do you have press releases out there for those awards? Do you have then content? So do you have established content on the website to show that you're an authoritative figure for your industry? Backlink profile. So making sure you have a strong network of backlinks from reputable sites. These websites really play a trust factor in not just ChatGPT, but in Gemini as well, and making sure that it is a high domain authority from a reliable reference. Then affiliate marketing. This is a newer one that is coming into play. So if you've ever seen like the best of or the top 5 products, that is considered affiliate marketing, along with some of these other sources that that ChatGPT is pulling. And this is pulling from more of the established brands that have these authority affiliate marketing websites. And this really shows credibility to those search engines and just expertise. So do you have content that has latest trends, data? Are you doing polls that provide more statistics that other competitors don't have? Do you have refreshed content that has updated trends there? You really need to be the trusted source on what ChatGPT wants to rank for. So the rise of generative engine optimization. So this is Gemini. This has been a long time coming. Google officially released it as a lab under about a year and a half. And now they're incorporating generative engine in more of the search results. So here's an example of the first one where can I buy a MacBook? That was originally showing shopping results. Now, when you search, they're showing AI results, and it's pushing down the shopping and showing more of the affiliates, more of the press releases, more of the authoritative websites higher up and pushing the shopping down. So this is going to play a huge role in how specific keywords, what search results show up for that specific keyword.
And if I may, really quick, I think one thing this also shows is that context is so important. So a lot of this, talk about AI and SEO, it's like taking everything we know about SEO and just amplifying it to a whole other level to understanding what the context is for those who are searching.
So how do we leverage generative engine? So how do we leverage Gemini? Because it's now implemented within our search results. We didn't ask for it. They just started implementing it, and Google's continuing to A/B test it. So how do we utilize it, right? How do we embrace it? So you need to focus on target snippets. So making sure you have content very clear, precise to common queries. And these show up usually higher. So, you know, it's if someone's asking a question, you give them a straightforward answer. Making sure you have structure, schema, data. So making sure that you show up in the knowledge panel, making sure you have rich snippets. So article schema, QA schema, FAQ schema, press release schema. There's a ton of different schema markups to show up higher. And the big thing too is to answer common questions. So again, you can have an FAQ schema, but the FAQ sections, you can include the different FAQs, different QAs, but just straightforward answers. And that's the easiest way for Google to index that, because again, you'll have a schema markup for those, and then it doesn't take away from the user experience because you have the drop down, so you don't have a ton of content blocks. So that's definitely has helped. Organic shopping. So in this case, as far as the search, is a MacBook worth it? If someone is typing in MacBook, there's going to be more organic shopping sections and not just PPC. It's going to be organic. There's top products, there's more products, there's products near me. There's so many different organic listings now for organic shopping. So making sure that your data feed is optimized for SEO. So making sure that your free listings is turned on and that you're utilizing some of the enhanced listing tags for the organic shopping to appear in those sections. AI generated, oh, sorry.
Sorry about that. There you go.
So longer tail keywords. So it's the conversational content. It's the questions. It's the longer tail keyword phrases that are going to get you ranked higher in these searches. And people they do the voice searches. You know, they might not be looking for a plumber, but they might be looking for the top best plumber in Los Angeles, like something that's more long tail. So making sure that you have those long tail keywords within the voice searches too, within your SEO optimization. And video has played a huge role. So video SERPs. We're seeing more video sections. We're seeing more social media sections. We're seeing more forum sections within the organic search results. And video, since YouTube is owned by Google, you know, you want to make sure that your videos are optimized with titles, descriptions, tagging, categories, schema markups to get indexed higher. So what are your actionable AI strategies? So reduce dependence on keywords. We need the longer tail keywords, the conversational keywords, the question ask keywords versus maybe just the 2-word keywords. And you need to focus on answer first content. So making sure that you have a direct answer to someone's question or what they're looking for that's more geared to their question. And again, really just keep it conversational. You know, it doesn't have to be a ton of fluff now for content. It's just straightforward, having individual sections for every single component, short paragraphs that really help index you higher in the AI models.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jill. So we're going to move right along. Really do appreciate it. Jill knows so much. She's done so much research on this. And at the end, you'll have our contact information. So if you want me to connect you with Jill, just let me know because she's a genius. So next, AI will enable personalization at scale across channels. This is a neat explanation. It just needs some examples. So Bernard, do you want to show us what we're talking about here?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. So, you know, Starbucks, of course, is a company that creates a lot of personalized experiences for their customers. And this is something that we as brands want to be able to implement in 2025. So how do they do it? So with Starbucks in this example, they sent out a AI-driven email campaign. So instead of sending a generic promotional email, as most brands do, Starbucks used AI to tailor their email recommendation based on a number of different things, like past purchases, their preference, and also the weather in the area. So imagine getting email that says, hey, it's cold today. How about a hot caramel macchiato on us today? So it's almost like the brand is understanding exactly what you want and what you're thinking about. So a lot of that obviously came from the data and being very good about storing data and preferences. So let's move to the next one as well. Here's an example of Nike. So these aren't just static images. They're reflected by the user's preference for color and style and even their specific customization. So you're getting an ad that is totally customized to your particular preferences, and it has custom visuals and user preferences like what information people have provided before, what kinds of laces and logos and soles and all this other information that people have provided and that Nike has actually captured over the years through their digital marketing. And when you then present an ad, it's like pretty crazy. Let's go to the next one, which is Amazon, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, which is where they're personalizing the product recommendation for you. You can pick up from where you left off before. You're targeting certain people. You can keep shopping. You're personalizing that homepage specifically for that person. So again, this is not magic, although it's a lot of like data science, but it's all about like the underlying data that you need. And so this is really important if we want to jump into this personalization. We need to have the right data in the right place for us to be able to do that. So it's one of our goals here at National Positions this year. Let's jump to the next slide if we could, Matt. So here's your actionable strategies. Start by collecting enrichment data points and build out a customer database platform. So National Positions is just starting this process of building out CDPs with Adbeacon. And we're overlaying data, like 386 data points of all sorts of different demographic information and previous purchase information, household information, et cetera, et cetera. The more you have of that information, the more likely you are to be able to personalize the information that comes up. And of course, the other part is zero-party data, collecting data from your pop-ups. And every time someone gives you some information on those pop-ups, you obviously want to store it with that record and then use it at a later time to customize your marketing.
And I think too, what we're going to find here before we get on to the next prediction is that all this stuff with AI, even though everyone's talking about AI, it's going to solve all the problems, it still needs some help along the way. Jill was talking about SEO. You got to give it great content in order to actually serve up what Bernard's talking about when it comes to data. You have to have that data available to actually make the AI work for you. So we can't just assume it's going to solve the problems. We have to actually help it along a little bit. It's still early. Speaking of AI tools will dominate creative production at scale. Who doesn't love a great creative, right? So this actually, I've been messing with AI creative since this stuff started, but it hasn't garnered massive adoption as of yet because it's not always so simple, but there are ways to use AI tools to help with creative production. So here's an example that Google's coming out with. Bernard, do you want to hit this?
Yeah, so I mean, this is almost like science fiction, but it's really, really cool. You upload your brand guidelines. So you tell Google, for instance, what your font size are, what your color preferences are, and your other guidelines, and you send that to PMax. And then you can actually have it develop content for you, so creative assets for you. And then this particular area that you're seeing, this animated GIF, is actually an example of where you can actually like type in information like, hey, wouldn't you, I'd love to have a painting for a wall canvas. I'd love to get rid of that lamp on the right-hand side. And then also creating assets in scale. So now instead of having kind of a wall behind it, you can get it to develop, hundreds of different background images as well. Is this all working perfectly right now? No, but will it get better and better over time? Absolutely. So it's really, really very exciting where asset creation and AI are going.
And I think something that's really great about this is if you have multiple audiences that you're targeting, even in this example, if you want to have a different style of painting on the wall for your different audiences to align with who you're targeting, you could do that and have far more assets than you currently have. Bernard?
So just a couple of actionable insights and strategies for you is that, try out some of these or some of these creative asset creation tools, see how they'll work for you. Google has tools, Meta has tools. TikTok has tools. They're all jumping into this. There's some other examples here: Canva, Pencil, Smartly, etc. These are all other tools as well that will help you to be more efficient and effective when it comes to creating assets and style. And who wouldn't want a cow on their stand-up paddleboard, So you can change the background and do all sorts of crazy things. So knock
Yeah,
yourself out.
I think that when it comes to this, you're going to see a lot more of these platforms offering more options like Google's trying to do, because there's still a learning curve in trying to do some of this. So they're trying to simplify it as much as possible. So AI, again, we're almost done with AI. They'll provide new and immersive ad experiences. And this is great, especially when we want clients and customers to engage with our products. And Bernard found this great example. Bernard, you want to tell us about this?
Yeah. So, one of the problems with apparel is that a lot of people look at the information. They're like, well, I'm not this kind of model, and I want to have more of a kind of a immersive and relatable model that is working for me. So actually what Google is introducing is this ability for us to add high quality image and texts that are specific to like different body types, and making things a lot more immersive for people, like 3D visuals, so you can see the content, it's spinning around in multiple different ways. They started that with shoes, and they're moving into other areas of apparel as well. And hopefully this will be a lot more relatable for people as they're shopping for a particular product. And then they can also have more confidence that one of the questions you may have is like, well, is that top going to fit? Will it look nice on my particular body type? So all sorts of really immersive and interesting types of visuals and ads that we should be expecting to see as we move deeper into 2025.
So I think some ways that we can, take advantage of this. Again, you're gonna have to watch some of your ad platforms for what's available. But first, start integrating short form product videos. Just seeing it in action is always going to be good. Whether it's clothes or it's furniture or it's sports equipment or whatever, you want to let them see it in action. Trying this where you can virtually try on, and ask for different body types. The way, if you look at Bernard, and then you look at me, we don't have the same anything, height, width of shoulders, anything. So something that's going to look good on Bernard ain't going to look good on me. And well, I would say vice versa, but it'll probably look just fine on Bernard. And finally, you can try using 3D image ads just to be more immersive and really put people in the experience of your brand. So the next prediction is marketers will create custom GPTs to maintain brand consistency. I'm going to take this one because I'm an AI nerd. So this one, I put this little video together. So this is an idea. If you want to maintain brand consistency and you're working with freelancers or just working internally, you can create your own GPTs. This is just an example of where I said, hey, GPT, this is what I want you to do every time I give you a URL. So then, just for example, we all know Nike. So if I went ahead and dropped in Nike over here, then because I may have to repeat this process over and over and over and over, I just saved hours and hours and hours of time. So you can create these GPTs to let internal stakeholders, do things more quickly. Or if you do have to work with an outside organization who maybe doesn't know all of your tone and your style, you can say, use this GPT and it'll help you, get the creatives we want faster, get messaging we want faster. So this is just a quick little thing. If you haven't messed with custom GPTs, pay the $20 a month, get an upgraded OpenAI account, and try creating your own GPTs. They're fantastic. Oop, not going to play that again. Let's move on.
Maybe I can add to that, Matt, as well. As said,
do,
at
yeah.
National Positions, we're creating GPTs for every one of our clients to make sure that we always have the right tone, the right voice, that we're on brand. And I think this is super helpful for us as an agency, but also really, really helpful for you as a brand to have this internally as well, because it's immensely helpful.
And the last thing I'll say in this, again, just because I'm a nerd, what's great about this is you can upload URLs, PDFs, plain text, spreadsheets, anything you want, where you want to tell the GPT, just give you results off of this information I'm giving you. So it won't go out and get, it won't hallucinate and get results that you don't actually need or content you don't actually need. I love it. It's fantastic. All right, we're going to move on to Brandformance, and we are speeding through because we are at 2:29. Want to see if we can get through and get all of your questions. Again, if you came in after I mentioned this, you can use the question and answer button in your Zoom there to throw in any questions that you like. If you put it in the chat, we may not see it. So, marketers will understand the importance of measuring brand building to boost performance marketing. This has been a battle for a while, but it's all coming together now. So, Bernard, this is a heavy subject. Do you want to take us through the whole data concept here?
So this is a graph. I was at a Google conference on October 31st at the YouTube headquarters, and they were talking about how important it is to like really build out your brand to boost your performance marketing. And I think brandformance is maybe a term that will become something more common in digital marketing space in 2025. But what you're seeing over there in the yellow are these short-term boosts, these performance marketing efforts that are going up, and they fall right down. Once you've finished your marketing spend, you can just fall all the way back down, and we don't want those quick wins. We want this long sustainable growth, which comes from branding as well. So brand building is obviously that red line over there, and this approach focuses on enhancing the brand equity and fostering loyalty, creating that meaningful connection with customers. And it's a gradual impact, but over time, it increases overall sales and increases and improves your overall performance marketing as well, which is the part that I think we'll go to in the next slide. So here's a study that was done over a 2-year period where this particular company is actually a company in the UK. They decided they were going to really double down on this idea of building out the brand. And what they've done here is in year 1, they put in, they kept doing their performance marketing, which is the yellow part. But they also started building on their brand, which is the orange part. And then you can see just proportionately how the increase occurred over time is that they had an incremental profit of that massively increased as they had both sides of the investment going together.
And just as a quick note, all of these numbers are in millions. So this is 3.1 million, 6.4 million, just to clarify.
Right. And then, it's one of those things that it builds over time. So you saw a slower growth rate in year 1, although it's still a 72% growth rate, which is pretty phenomenal. But in year 2, 76% growth rate. And then you look at the profitability as well, and that's on the right-hand side. And you're seeing a performance profit increase, which is pretty substantial in the first year, 35%, and 48% in the second year. So the real big takeaway here is that investing in brand building amplifies your performance-based marketing. And we really, really are speaking to all of our clients about this year, how important both of those are, and that it really obviously makes our job as a performance agency a lot easier when we have all these branded activities happening at the same time.
Absolutely.
So what do you do to increase your brand? Obviously, invest in PR. This is online and offline. Invest in affiliates, and then invest in influencers. So those are the typical areas that'll have the quickest and best impact.
And what's great about this too, remember when Jill was speaking earlier and talking about PR and affiliates, all this has a exponential effect, across what you're doing, because what works in one place will also help you in another area like organic SEO. So next prediction, sophisticated marketing teams, National Positions, people like us, will measure top of funnel KPIs just as they do bottom of funnel KPIs. So putting as much value as what's coming in as to how we're actually converting that. So Bernard, here are just some examples. You want to run us through these?
Yeah, I want to just say that this is a very kind of uncomfortable area for most of everybody that's on this call today, because we're so focused on KPIs that are about return on ad spend and profitability. But to really embrace Brandformance, you need to look at things like brand mentions and media impressions and sentiment, across various audiences, and social listening and search engine rankings and organic traffic and organic social. And these don't, as we showed before, they don't show an immediate ROI, but they're super, super important. And so if you go to the next slide, this is the part I say that we need to do. Actionable insight is we really need to sit down with your CFO and with your CEO and, you know, have this discussion and show them these case studies and talk about the fact that there's that empirical correlation between brand metrics and performance. And I think in the short term, there's going to be a lot of pushback, but in the long term, the people that embrace this will see a huge improvement.
And I think this comes to the whole LTV discussion we talk about, like wanting to, you know, you want your customers to come back. You want your, you know, customers to repurchase. And if you don't at least have some kind of brand building going on, it's very hard for customers to sink their hooks into anything that they go, oh yeah, I trust this brand and I believe what they say and I like what they do. So I think this whole thing getting buy-in it's a difficult discussion, but it's a very necessary discussion in 2025. Let's go on to data, because don't we all love data? Everything in marketing runs off of data. So, and one that we've been talking about for almost 5 years now, almost 5 years at NP, but Phoenix is going to be the huge, do the heavy lifting here because she knows probably more about first party data than almost anyone on this call. Is first party data will become a competitive imperative, not a nice to have, not let's put it in there, but you really don't have a choice if you want to actually scale and grow. So Phoenix, if we talk about data as a differentiator, how do some of these, you know, how do you tease some of this stuff out when it comes to first party data?
Yeah, so for those who don't know what first party data is, it's literally just your store data. It's like your Shopify store data, your WooCommerce, your BigCommerce, right? And like, what do you do with that data? And we don't realize how powerful it is. So attribution is just who gets credit for a sale. So like if it's Google ads or Facebook ads, et cetera, we are no longer listening to those platforms as to who gave us or brought us the most income or revenue. We're now going to actually confidently know by first and last name if a sale actually occurred from these ads. So attribution data, that's just a need to have. There's no nice to have at that point, just because as we get into more of a black box world and there's more AI and there's more machine learning to fill in the gaps, it's getting less and less accurate. So we need to absolutely start with first party data in attribution. Creative analysis is the same thing. I think there's a lot of tools out there that just take whatever platform data is telling them regarding their creative ads. But you have to remember, like when you analyze data, it has to be accurate. That's the foundation. So again, first party data, even when you're analyzing how effective your ads are in terms of creative, is essential. So your creative team needs to work with your data-driven team in order to generate some really strong results. And again, that back to optimization, it kind of goes back to attribution data. How are people supposed to spend money in the right places on flawed data? Again, back down to first party, there's proof. New and returning customers, I think this is a huge unlock in 2025. And I know NP's utilizing Adbeacon for this. So really exciting is that you're able to filter by new versus returning customer and confidently know that that's the case. So as you get more advanced with your I would say media buying strategies or your omni-channel strategies, your goal might be new customer acquisition this year by a certain percentage within a specific margin, a cost per acquisition of X or Y. How are your teams supposed to do that if they don't have data to fall back on to really know who's generating more new customers or returning? So first party data will fill that gap for you, which is huge. Audience segments is another thing too. I think we relied a lot on Facebook or Google, et cetera, on who we're targeting. We might say, I want to find someone like Bernard May, right, within this age demographic who's interested in these things, but we don't know for sure if that's as accurate as it was before. Why don't we take it a step back and go, well, I want more, Matt Erickson's, because Matt Erickson might be more loyal and spends more money with us. So those types of data points where we know these are our best customers and these are our worst customers, we can feed it back to these platforms to find more people like that. And you wouldn't be able to do that without first party data. We'd be reliant on these platforms like Facebook and hope and a dream that it worked out. And then the last thing is product predictions. And I think data as a differentiator as a whole is really leveling up your strategy. You know, this was baseline. This next level is, okay, it's great. We know what people are probably going to buy next, but do we know how long it takes from the first purchase to the second purchase to the third purchase? Do we know which products they're going to buy, and also by lifetime value? You know, if someone buys this product first, they might stay with us longer and buy more rather than this other product. So again, that level up via first party data is a very big factor in being competitive in this space. So excited about it.
And if you think about this, if for those who are listening, like if you just at a very high level, if you have customer A who's a new customer, they seem to convert on this product on this channel, as compared to a returning customer who actually prefers this kind of ad and this kind of product. All of a sudden it starts getting very like, oh, we can't have one kind of campaign. We have to have very granular campaigns that we can measure against. Okay, Venus is going to come back in a minute. Sophisticated marketers like us will use in-market data to identify prospects, even if they have never heard of your brand. This has been something we've been wanting to crack at NP for a long time. We're going to be edging that way in 2025. So Bernard, you want to kind of unpack this? Because some people may not believe this is a thing. You're on mute, Bernard. We love hearing your voice. So
this is one of our predictions. I hope it comes to fruition. But wouldn't it be wonderful if you could actually identify people that are in market and then be able to target them before they even come to your website? So this is what does sound like science fiction, but it is possible. Google does this day in and day out. They have in-market data, but they don't share it with any of us. This is part of their secret sauce. So there are ways of actually getting out and putting in keywords, huge numbers of keywords, and identifying who's in market, who could potentially be going to your competitor websites as well, and trying to actually figure out who these in-market audiences are, and then build actual segmented audiences that you can push out to social media and target those particular individuals and push them to your own website. So that's the theory, and hopefully that will also be something that you'll have from National Positions as we move deeper into and Adbeacon through Adbeacon as we move into 2025.
Fingers crossed on this one, because we all hate the fact that 96 to 98% of people leave our websites and don't take any action. We'd love to be able to tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, remember us? Maybe you should come over to us. So hopefully we'll be able to do something with this in 2025. Oops, let me go back there. Mid-market brands will begin developing and using CDPs for the very first time. Bernard, what's a CDP?
Okay. So this is a customer database platform, and the more data points you have on your particular audiences, the better you can target them. So the goal, and this is something we've been working really closely with Phoenix and the Adbeacon team, is all about like, how can we take those RFM audiences, the recency, frequency, and monetary audiences, and make them even better. So like, you know, we last year were really excited about having champions and loyal customers and customers that frequently buy from us. But who are they? What do they look like? So if you can overlay data, and we have a partnership that we're working on that can overlay 386 data points, demographic information, behavioral information, engagement information, transactional information, et cetera, that makes it so that we really know who that guy is in the middle there. And we can make some very, very smart targeting and segmentation. And this is something that's going to be super exciting for our customers. And I think that this was something that, you know, if you ask very, very large brands like, you know, the Lever brothers, or, you know, Pepsi and other Nikes and others, they have this in-house. But for mid-sized brands, this was something that no one had, and we're hoping that this is something that will come to market. I feel pretty confident in this particular prediction.
All right, thank you, Bernard. So let's go on to, we talked about first-party data. Now let's talk about zero-party data. So zero-party data collection will become standard for most e-commerce sites. It's not as scary as it sounds. Bernard's going to show us how. So Bernard, zero-party,
so
can you really quickly zero-party to first-party? What's the difference there?
Okay, so zero party is where you actually are requesting information from a prospect or from a customer so that you get to know more about them. This particular example is a pop-up that our marketing automation team built for one of our soap clients, and it actually walks them through a number of different areas and provides a discount over time. But it's asking people, what are you interested in regards to the particular soaps that you're looking for, foaming soap or face soap or bath. Now, the more you know this information, again, imagine you're overlaying all this other information into your CDP, but you've also got, they're really interested in bath and body and essential oils. This could be super helpful for you when you come to your targeting. And it also, counterintuitively, the more questions you ask, and I would have said doesn't make any sense at all, but the more questions we ask, the more we've seen that people sign up on these pop-ups. And so it's a double win. You're getting a better conversion rate on your pop-ups, and you're getting more actionable data that you can use for retargeting and for building audiences and segments.
And I think part of this, we have Gamify up here, but part of this is because even in marketing, we still got to remember we're trying to have a conversation here. So this kind of thing where it kind of walks them through, you can see on the top where, okay, they're this far along, this far along, this far along. But then also it's not just saying, do you want a discount? Do you want a discount on what you want? It starts making it more specific to them and makes it more interesting, more engaging. And if we can apply that data into what we're doing, it just makes all of our marketing more powerful. So let's go on to the next one. Data-driven creatives become more mainstream. We're going to reel Phoenix back in here because this goes into all those data points we were talking about. You can pick your favorite ones, Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, so look, back in the day when we were just optimizing creatives, we were like, okay, what works and what doesn't work? And there's a methodology behind it, but we were really relying on Facebook metrics or, whatever platform metrics they were giving us. And as when I used to do the media buying, I used to think to myself, okay, what is actually working in terms of this specific image or this specific video, not just the ad, because ads can be duplicated across multiple places. It's very complicated. And I just want to know, is the picture of Bernard better than the picture of Matt? That's all I want to know. So I think there's a couple ways to extrapolate that. And we have to start with accurate data, which is what first-party data will do. But we also bundle, let's just say, all the pictures of Matt's face, and we bundle all the pictures of Bernard's face. Now I can have a really concise understanding of which one is performing better in terms of ROAS and which one is performing better in terms of revenue. And often those aren't aligned. So you can get far more strategic. Do I want more of a return or do I want more revenue? And sometimes volume of orders. And this is where things get more complex and, again, more advanced. I really love a new feature that we just launched, which is a creative comparison report. And really what it is, it takes how many ads are a specific format, like a carousel, and how many ads are images, and how many ads are videos, and how much did you spend against those, and what is the performance of those? Very simply is maybe we invest more money in images than video because video takes more time and effort, and it isn't reaping as much of a return. This high level look is so important as you start to make better decisions and more profitable decisions in 2025, and your team is bolstered with accurate data. So that's really helpful. But yeah, it all starts with accurate data. I can only say that until I'm blue in the face.
No, absolutely. And I think this is a shot from within Adbeacon, but this is like an example. We hear this all the time. Well, there's nothing wrong with ROAS. We love ROAS. But when there's too much of a focus on some of those KPIs, because we've heard it for a decade, we want higher ROAS. Yeah, but your lower ROAS is giving you more revenue. So what matters more to you, money or the vanity metrics we're kind of getting into? So this just kind of shows there's a lot of data points to consider and ways to look at the data, and just kind of pull back a little bit and have a bigger view of, what you can actually, Bernard and I had this conversation of focus on what you have control over. So these are things, if you know what you're looking at, you have control and you can test new things. All right, thank you, Phoenix. We're going to jump on to Omni-Channel, and we are going to speed up. We have 12 minutes, but we want to get questions. Last call. If you have questions, please put them in the Q&A. And if you don't, that's fine too. Okay, social media marketplaces will become a major revenue driver. This is pretty self-explanatory. Phoenix, there's really only one thing to do if you want to try to get more revenue on a social media marketplace, and that's to try it, I guess. You're on mute, Phoenix.
Yeah, it's to try it. So again, really big things for you guys to take notes on is TikTok Shop and Meta Shop. Those are the new hubs. We don't know what the state of TikTok is going to be, and your team here will keep you updated all along the way, specifically your paid social team. But it is powerful. It is very powerful. Keep in mind that TikTok Shop and Meta Shop aren't going to be your LTV players in the game. Like, it's going to be very limiting to you. So it's going to be the instant people who are shopping, but there's not a lifetime value component there. So it's always optimal to bring them to your store. However, it is a revenue driving channel. So definitely get it set up, reach out to your teams to set this up. And during the Christmas season, I unfortunately spent way too much money on TikTok Shop, as I'm sure a huge majority of you have as well. So again, there's money here on the table. Take it. And the first thing to do is set it up.
All right, thank you. All right, this is the year of CTV. We're going to go right through this because this could be a webinar in and of itself. So Bernard,
Yeah.
we're really going to focus on this year. So tell us about this.
So again, I was at a Google function where they were talking about their foray into connected TV. I think this is really interesting for all of us. If Google is going into connected TV and they also have YouTube TV, there's a really great opportunity for us to connect all the dots and be able to have really good metrics that will actually flow down into your Google reporting. So I'm excited about this. So that's Google on the one side. I think it's also a time now where people are fed up with linear TV, and so many people have been cord cutting that people are moving over to streaming, and that this is a good opportunity for us at least to try it out. And some of the rates and the ability to target have become very specific and very targeted, and mid and smaller tier brands can afford this. So that's my prediction here. Connected TV.
Let's do it.
Invest in it.
All right, first-party data is, we may have to skip a little bit here in a minute, but first-party data tools, well, we've discussed a little bit here. Well, we needed to track complex customer journeys. This is something I completely nerd out on with Phoenix. No one shops in one place. They look a little more complex. So actually, I'm just going to take this one, Phoenix. So this is just a quick example of, again, this is why we work with Adbeacon, because we can track every single touch point from where they saw you and started their journey, which is down here on the left. In this case, it was direct traffic. Look at all of these touch points. All of these touch points to get one order. I mean, so anyone who's like, I just want to do, let's just do Google ads. Like, really? Because here's some direct traffic, here's some email, here's some organic search, here, we're everywhere. So remember, the way that you usually act as a customer, which we've all done that, we've got on our phones, we look at this, we go over here. We need to be, I'll just say, in the most valuable places, and unlocking all of these customer journeys. I don't know a way to do it without first-party data. And that's something that is one of the not main reasons, but one of the big reasons we like working with Adbeacon, because they have this data ethically, and we can take it and use it to enhance campaigns. So if you can't track it, you can't improve. All right, mixed media modeling will finally be available to mid-tier brands. We like talking about mid-tier brands because NP started as a small brand. Now we're kind of a mid-tier brand. So it's very close to our hearts. So Bernard, what do we mean by this?
Yeah, so first, like, what is media mix marketing? It's actually a regression model, and it's very complicated, and these big brands have all been using it to try and figure out where to allocate their media spend. Having worked with our performance team at National Positions, we sit there trying to make these predictions and move money from one place to another. But wouldn't it be great if you had a model that is all very statistically based and has all your historical data and has all the competitive historical data, and then you can make an idea of like deciding where the contributions need to be. So we're part of this beta program that we hope is going to come to fruition in Q1, and I'd love to see us using this. So I think that, finally, let's see what the results look like. But this is the holy grail. This is what people have been waiting for and would love to have, so that they can figure out where the contributions should be and be more accurate about going back to their CFO and going, hey, I need more spend for this and less spend for that. And it's all based on these regression models.
And so we're going to speed along, but don't worry if you're not grasping. There's some of these concepts you don't know. We have an ebook at the end we're going to let you know about, which you'll all have access to, so you'll have a full rundown. Performance management. We love performance management at National Positions. So Bernard, let's quickly let them know.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bottom line is everything's getting more complicated. You need someone to work closely with you who can basically help to coordinate all of the different areas, when it comes to budgeting, forecasting, reporting, allocating of budgets and things like that. So that's where our prediction is it's going to be more complicated, and, performance management is going to become like really, really essential.
And I think the main thing here is that everyone gets in their own little funnels of what are our metrics and if we hit our goals, but who's steering the ship? So this really pulls it back and goes, all right, where's the entire thing going so everyone can succeed, not just one of our channels. All right, last section, conversion and UX. Let's go into it. So CRO testing will embrace AI-driven first-party data. Venus, can you just tackle this real quick? We've talked about first-party data. You're the expert.
Yeah, so CRO is going to actually be, ignited with first party data. And a clear example of that is actually we know what products people are buying from your ads. Prior to Adbeacon, you can't do that in Meta, Google, etc. So what does that mean? If I know that this specific sweatshirt is actually driving sales to the same sweatshirt, but in the color red, then I can speak to the CRO team to optimize the landing page in order for us to convert at a much higher rate. Also, if it's a promotional time period, we speak to the CRO team to potentially have a bundle deal between the two. Yep, Tess is smiling because she understands. And I'm like, now we have higher sell-through, higher AOV, less clicks, less friction. By understanding what people are already doing, we aren't pushing up against what their natural inclination is to buy. So that's huge. Loyalty programs data, like I said, those audiences and re-engaging people who are most likely going to buy from you next. You don't have to potentially do that on Meta or Google. You can do that through marketing automation, and really identifying who those people are and finding the lowest cost to re-engage with them. So yeah, those are really big key factors in CRO and first-party data.
Absolutely. This is, again, making everything work together. We want what brings in from the top of the funnel, push all the way down to the bottom. We have to share information. Reducing friction at checkouts. This is not new, but it is becoming more and more and more important because everyone's trying to get fancy. They're trying to be clever, not clear. So we want to be able to reduce friction at checkouts. It'll become a major priority for brands for conversion. So Tess, you want to just take us through some of the concepts here?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Matt. So I'd say really there are two key goals here. One is more about enhancing engagement, and the other is really just simplifying purchasing, right? So gamifying, which we went into a little bit earlier too, but spin the wheel or mystery scratch off upsell, right, can help make the journey fun, which then kind of psychologically helps reduce stress, increases excitement, and therefore increases purchases or decrease cart abandonments, right? Expanding options can also help with engagement. And then for the other three, just, reducing steps and guaranteeing security, eliminating clutter is important for trust and really just streamlining the experience.
Absolutely. And I think that too, like you'll see, like if you've purchased before, especially if you have a big ticket item that you're going to purchase, you get a little bit of anxiety, like, oh, I'm about to hit the let's go button. So you want to make sure that, as things, as your price tag goes up, that you reduce as much extra anxiety as possible so people can make decisions without being distracted. And Tess, I'm going to kick this to you. We have no setup for this. It's all conversion here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's pretty common. People tend to already kind of do this, but again, all of this is just going to be more enhanced and more driven this way in 2025. So, there's certain psychological triggers, right, that can definitely play a huge role in getting people to convert. So, real-time buy notifications, low stock alerts, limited time offers, and, A/B testing, that kind of messaging, right, can really help drive more users to purchase.
And I've seen things that Tess has done on this side where she's had like in a checkout where it's almost at the end, it just, you're one click away from enjoying your XYZ, just those things that can, anything that can help up here is always a good thing.
Exactly.
And then finally, not finally, sorry. CRO will encompass post-purchase touch points. Tess or Bernard, either of you can.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Tess, I'll just jump in and say that, obviously checkout is one of the most important areas, but post-checkout are things like, the thank you pages, the confirmation emails. These all have opportunities for us to really, increase conversion and to really focus on these areas. I think will provide us with much more of a return. And so I think people are going to think but beyond what they thought of as regular CRO, and CRO will morph into like basically anything that has to do with like A/B testing to get more sales.
And this all comes to that LTV discussion. That 2025 is that year of LTV. The last one, I'm going to do this. I can do it in 30 seconds. This is the year that AR becomes mainstream. I've been going to events back before I was at NP. I was an events person. I remember seeing AR at that point in its infancy. But this is really about putting the customer in the experience of your brand. So if you have something like this, for example, L'Oreal, they have cosmetics and hair color. Can you actually see what that looks like on you? What is that hair color going to look like on you? Hopefully it's pretty close. Because when you have things like this, you want to reduce that friction as much as possible and get people excited. So this is a way to put your brand, in their hands or on their phones. Luckily, we can all do this with these now. And the last one is this brand, because I'm probably going to purchase from this brand, and Phoenix has purchased from this brand. This is Albany Park. They're I'll go ahead and call them like a luxury modular furniture brand, 100% online. They have no retail location, so they have to make it as immersive as possible. And what you can't see here is that little barcode right there. If you scan that, you can then see this furniture in your place. So it makes the friction far, far lower than it would have been otherwise. So using AR, if you can, to really put the customer in the experience of your brand should be a top priority if you can swing it. All right. That's the whole presentation. So are there any questions? Oh, Phoenix said she highly recommends Albany Park. So if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. I know we're at 1 minute over. I don't see any questions, so I'm going to go ahead and just assume you don't have any questions and that your brains are full. But it's time to prepare for 2025. So if you've just been kind of like getting over that whole holiday, New Year, big deep breath, well, a couple things we have for you. One, yes, we will have this whole presentation as a PDF. I'll make sure I send it out to all the attendees. We have a recording, so those who asked, I'll make sure you get that. We also have 2 ebooks. One is kind of what this presentation was based off of, which is how to stay ahead of the trends in 2025. Has all of these trends and more. And we have another one all dedicated to data. Different ways to look at the data, actions you can take with the data. These are both available. So all I'm going to let you know is if you want to get any of this, and I will email some of you proactively, you can hit marketing@nationalpositions.com. That'll go right to me, and I can make sure you get all the information. And if you want to learn more about Adbeacon, you can go to adbeacon.com, or you can hit Phoenix directly at phoenix@adbeacon.com, and she can get you a demo. But if you do work with National Positions and you're doing paid media, rest assured, probably 99% chance we're leveraging Adbeacon to enhance your campaigns. So with that, thank you all so much for bearing with us, and almost all of you for staying. And we hope you had a great time, and we will see you at the next one. So thank you all very, very much, and have an amazing day.